Hey y'all, today we are talking about accident prevention. Why should we talk about this? Well, there's a number of reasons why we should talk about this. Safety at most companies believes that everything is 100% preventable. If you've been on the road or in the patch or even a city driver, you know that's complete bull. Not everything is preventable. And yeah, I know every safety department person is going to kill me for this one. It's about 5 to 10% that is 100% non-preventable. The number may be higher than that, my number may be lower. I'm just kind of ballparking it. We're not talking about every situation if it's preventable or not. I'm gonna sit on about 6 or 7 points, maybe more depending on time, of ways to prevent 95% of them. And as time and experience comes along, hopefully this becomes second nature to you. Or you'll decide to leave. That's a personal decision. But why should we do this? Well, there's a number of reasons why you should do this. 1, you're not going to end up jumping job to job because you're wrecking equipment. 2, you'll actually still have a driver's license at the end of the day. And 3, you'll probably still have money in your wallet because you won't be fined for having accidents or whatever, which I really hope is not the big reason why people are going to do this. Depending on the company you work for, they actually give you safety bonuses or safety incentives if you go so many months a year without accidents, without fines, without speeding, And I know a lot of people are money oriented, and that's fine. If that's the reason you want to do this, great. I'm just asking you, when this video is finally over, if you like what I've said or you agree with what I said, or even if you don't agree with what I said, you can hit the like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going to give you my 2 cents. What I think will help you prevent most, if not 95% of potential accidents or incidents or near misses, as we call them in the industry. Before I start, I have to say one last point. Most of this can pertain to your new drivers, your inexperienced drivers, and I'm going to throw these guys and girls into it because I think they need to be, your complacent drivers. The ones that have been doing, like, say, California to Washington State, dedicated run back and forth. Dedicated run, stuff hasn't changed, you're going to get complacent. So this is the reopen complacent people's eyes also. So it's not just your new drivers. And you know what? It could be a good couple minutes, a couple points that all of us could say, hey, that's pretty good. Most of these subjects that I'm going to touch on, I do myself. Not all of them, but most of them I do, because I think it's a good practice to have. Point number 1, and this one should be common sense, but unfortunately in society and world we live in, you can't say common sense anymore. Give yourself some room. If you're heading down I-45, you're heading wherever. I don't care if you're in Canada, US, wherever. If you're heading along the road, give yourself what is called a buffer zone. Give yourself a 1.5 truck length or, 2-3 car length, whatever. That way, if Johnny Jackass pulls in front of you, you have space to properly. Or if you come over a hill and all of a sudden you see 2 miles of brake lights, you don't have to slam on your brakes, especially in winter. So the best thing I can say is give yourself a buffer zone. And if Johnny or Sally or whatever thinks they need to jump in front of you, back off, regain your buffer space. There is not a customer on this planet, and I've worked in more than enough countries and every state in the Constitution except Hawaii, that will bitch and complain if you're 15, 20 minutes late because you were driving defensively to get their load to them. They rather have it show up even 15, 20 minutes late or whatever it is than not at all. Especially if they see it on the night news spread all over the interstate. Calm down, relax, put the tunes on, and just give yourself a buffer, a cushion, where you can get out of danger if you need to. Be it pull onto the shoulder to avoid, so you're not hitting the next person and slamming your brakes. Like, give yourself a buffer. Point number 2 is be thorough. I'm sure depending on who you work for, be it oil field, be it chemical, like you're hauling bulkers, tankers, doesn't matter who you're working for. Be that OCD person. Go over everything, check everything. As soon as you move an inch, you've accepted that load. You're responsible for that truck and trailer. That's your name, that's your life, that's you. So I don't care if it takes you an hour and a half to go through that truck and trailer, it takes an hour and a half. As long as you know and you're confident and you're happy that thing works properly, that thing is safe to be on the road legally and in your comfort zone, there's not a safety department on this planet that will castrate you for taking longer. Now, in saying that, they may advise you and train you how to do it more efficiently, but ultimately, you're the one accepting it. So they'll work with you in getting everything you need checked and done. That is also efficient if you're taking 2 hours or 3 hours. But if you are thorough, they will not castrate you, they will not suspend you, nothing. Because especially if you find something that would shut you down on the road and cost them big money. The more thorough you are, the better off you are. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, this next point I'm going to talk about kind of blows my mind. I guess because the trainer I had a million years ago, at least it seems like, was very thorough with me. And he made it. Every trip that we went on during training and everything, my eyes never stayed in one spot. I was always constantly scanning, looking at your windshield, looking out your side mirrors, looking out your convex mirrors and everything. I was constantly scanning. Until this day, 20-something years later, I still constantly rotate through all of them. I'm constantly looking, and that has caught me preventing more than a few accidents, because I'll go to come over and all of a sudden Johnny has come up in his Mustang and he wasn't there before, and I'll see him in my convex mirror and I'll pull back where I was. I'm constantly scanning for people that are whipping in and out and all that. Yeah, it's just the best thing to do for trying to avoid. Point number 4. This one's a fun one. There's no 100% way of doing this. Point number 4 is plan your trip. Unfortunately, that's like pulling a rabbit out of a hat. Yeah, you can say you're going from Toronto to Tampa. You can say you're going to go down I-75, you're going to stop at this town, this town, this town. But you have to have plan B, plan C, plan D. Weather's going to happen? Well, that trip probably not, but you got to plan for weather, you've got to plan for road construction. The one thing that people never ever take into consideration is renovations or construction of buildings. Meaning, if you're heading down, just for example, if you're heading down I-75 to Tampa and you're thinking, oh, well, I'm going to stop at the Loves at whatever exit. So, all right, you plan your trip to go to Loves. All of a sudden you pull off and it's shut down because they're renovating the whole building. Well, you have to have a backup plan. If you're a lease owner operator, it's more important for you to plan your trip per fuel. Trying to find out where the best place is for fuel. Obviously, because the cheaper you pay for fuel, the more money you make. But again, you have to have a backup plan if that place is shut down or if it's after hours. You have to have contingency plans. You have to have, well, if this happens or that happens, you know. Point number 5, I'm not enthusiastic about talking about because I am not in agreement with it. It's getting a roadmap and using it. Roadmaps I'm fine with. Not a problem with roadmaps. But it also leads into your Garmin's and your Randall truck GPS not always working or not always being 100%. So you have to go off of Google or phone apps. Problem I have with that is they don't recognize our trucks. They may take you a faster route, but it's not always authorized for trucks. So that's where the problem is. So my best advice for that is, and I'm not disputing the actual paper map. I still have one, I always will. Because sometimes you just need to know. But if you're going off Garmin or Randall GPS and it will not find the exact location you were going to. Find the closest it will find, and then call the customer once you get there and say, look, I'm in blah, blah, blah. I'm 20 minutes out. My GPS does not locate you. What is your recommendation for the best route in? The reason I say that and not go to, Google or something like that is because depending on who you are delivering to or who you're receiving from or loading from are an established warehouse, and they'll know the truck route. My last point, this one infuriates me to no end because I have a couple stories about this one. The topic is don't always trust your spotter. This is a two-sided topic. First off, I guess it's because I'm old school trucker. Why do you have a spotter in the first place? But I get it. New drivers, everything, I get it. And I understand and agree that you can't take that person's word 100% because either they don't know 100% what they're doing or whatever. The best piece of advice I was told 20 years ago was back up 10, 20 feet, get out, go look. Back up 10, 20 feet, stop, get out and go look. Do it that way. Then you have nobody else to blame but yourself. Is that practical nowadays? Probably not. But what is practical anymore? The world that half of us, some of us learned in is not around anymore. Can I predict what's going to happen in the next 5, 10 years on backing up? No. My 2 cents is if you don't know how to back up and you need a spotter, talk to your training department. Talk to a buddy that's in the industry. Say, look, I need help. If you don't know anybody, man up. Ask somebody in a trucking parking lot, and hopefully somebody will say, oh, yeah, I'll spot you, but don't take it 100%. This is the few points that I think were the most important to talk about. If you agree, hit the like, subscribe. You can comment a positive, a negative. Otherwise, peace out, have fun. See you later in the next video.